Imagine you have this broken building for your next photo shoot. What are you taking a picture of? Heyo, this is Matt, and I'm going to break down how I made this building so you can make this building. I believe in you. I have a few diorama prop videos in mind, but I'm not going to make an official series or anything. Or maybe. For this first one, we are going to check out this broken castle wall building diorama. I've seen a lot of cool castle settings in toy photography, especially with some Mythic Legions figures. And it's been on my list for a while to make one. Some inspiration at the time when I first made this, I was playing Avowed, the video game, watching Attack on Titan, admiring this dragon, and then one of my friends shared a picture of this diorama. It's one that you can purchase, but I jokingly said, just make it, bro. Even though I was really joking, there was some truth to it. Not so much for him to make it, but for me. So I kind of used that as a foundation mixed with the other inspirations. With that said, let's start the build. This XPS foam is the best for making dioramas. I have some clean sheets, but I'm always looking for ways to save, so I'm going to reuse an older creation. This piece was something I made for a church video, and I used it for a few other shots. I later added these bullet holes for these John Wick pics. I flipped it over and started making some stones. This trick is one I've seen a lot of creators use to add all kinds of texture and bricks and stones. By using an old paintbrush without any of the bristles, you can stamp into the foam. If this was a brick wall, it would have been easier, but because I was going for more of these uneven rock and stone patterns, I bent the metal a bit. I started with a large brush, and then I used a smaller one to fill in the gaps. It wasn't coming out exactly. I think I was kind of pushing it too hard, but it got the foundation down. On a quick side note, I am going to make a few mistakes and do more work than necessary because I was trying some new things. Hopefully it's something you can learn from, or maybe the original look is something you want to try anyway. The idea of this is awesome. I'm not sure if I was doing it correctly or not, but I wanted the grooves to look more pronounced. I used a hot wire to carve out more between the stones, and this was going to be for the floor. Then for the walls, I really wanted that castle look, so the bricks would be more square and look different from the floor. I used the same paintbrush after bending it back to mostly normal and stamped kind of randomly, but in a random pattern. I wanted there to be lines that made sense for stacking, so that was the goal when stamping. Then to fill in the gaps here, I used a pencil to draw lines and make more semi-random stones by carving those lines with my metal scribe, which is one of my most recommended tools for dioramas and custom figures. I went a bit overboard here. I didn't need to do it like this, but I pretty much carved out every single stone. And the main reason being the next step involved covering it with some spackling paste. I've done some brick walls before, and I have used both this stuff and grout, and I've used nothing. And overall, I love the look of it, but where I messed up here is that it's different from the brick building is that I used it before painting. For the brick building, I painted everything and then I applied it, and then I did a black wash, and I love it. I really love the texture that it provided and the color. So that's what I should have done here too, but I didn't, and I still got a good look, a good result, but I think it took more when it came to the painting parts. To connect the walls and make it semi-sturdy, I used another piece of foam as a base. So these were all glued onto the floor. I glued the floor piece down, and then I glued the walls with two toothpicks, which I added to hold it all together. I used my speed square to get the walls as straight as possible. One wall I really liked from Avowed was a double wall that looked like this. So whether necessary or not for my project, the texture was awesome and I liked the potential look it could provide. So I ended up adding this second wall behind. It also gives some depth from certain angles. Another note on connecting the walls, I love it when pieces are modular. Like this Extreme Sets piece I bought can be placed all different kinds of ways, but that doesn't always work the best or look the best. Before, with certain projects, I feel like I would try to make everything modular, but then it would be a bit more time consuming to set it up or get it right when it came to the photography part of it. So my goal for this and other recent builds is to make them complete pieces. So it's modular pieces that, like modular complete pieces, I guess. After the spackling paste dried, I did the full base coat of black paint mixed with Mod Podge. Remember, there's more than one way to do all of this. I'm simply showing you how I did it. I'm not saying this is the right way or the best way. I'm constantly learning and sharing. Once the base coat dried, I dry brushed some gray across all of the pieces. And then I painted some individual stones different colors. Once again, I wanted the floor to stand out and be different from the walls, so I used more browns and tans for some of these pieces. And then for the wall, I did use some different grays. I still used the brown, and then I think an orange mixed in there as well. I dry brushed with the gray again and a little white after all of this dried. Unfortunately, I didn't record this next part, but I will break down what I did. The pile of stuff started with a layer of Mod Podge. I placed these rocks that I got from Hobby Lobby to cover some of the base. I sprinkled some of this diorama turf. And lastly, stuffed some of these fake little leaves and plants in between. I did a variation of that, all mixing up different rocks and sizes with pebbles and different gravels. Also, I cut out some little brick rocks, still foam, that I glued down and stacked as if they were fallen from the broken walls. Then in between some of the cracks, I wanted to add a bit more texture and color, so I dabbed some Mod Podge and then I dumped some more turf. I left the base big on purpose because I knew I wanted to add more. I didn't film the stairs step by step, because it's pretty much the same process. They are made of foam, carved, and painted. Some other finishing touches include these wooden pieces that I added, like little beams or sticks that I broke up. These beams are made from foam that I scratched and painted, and these posts are actual sticks that I cut up and stuck them through the foam. I'm beyond happy with how this came out and everything that I learned from making it and the shots I've been able to get so far, and I know I'm gonna get a lot more later on. Hopefully this helped you want to get started making your first diorama, or maybe try a new technique for your next diorama. Create and inspire.